Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the PSv3 Weekly Webinar. Today is March the 13th. It is exactly 2:08 p.m. in Texas. You may have a different time, but that's where we are in Central United States. Hope everybody's doing well. Today may be a short one. We are basically going to just field some questions from the audience. Any thoughts, comments, concerns, features, problems, anything you guys want to get into regarding, PSv3 or anything else that we normally talk about. It is open season on any of those things. We don't really have anything new. Of course, we have things new coming, but nothing new today to go over or present. So we won't be blowing your minds today. So we're going to keep it kind of light. And like I said, just fire away with your questions. And I will turn this over to Herc in just a second. He is loading up some screens at the moment, getting some things ready.
Yeah, I'll show you what's coming, I guess.
All right, sounds good. All right, guys. So if you have any questions, start firing away and we will get to them.
And as you guys are typing those in, what I'll show you is what's coming. So right now, the project planner, the way we do things, guys, we've covered this quite a bit, is, you put your keywords in here and then you use your keyword cloud to help you optimize for the most important keywords and see what's showing up where, blah, blah, blah. We've done this quite a bit. But we control our pages and post, title, description, H1, and URL from here. And I was just looking at it, and as good as it is, I'm always looking to make things a little more user-friendly and nice and stuff like that. So what we wanted to do is have the look of this, not the nothing's going to change function-wise, but the look of this is going to change a little bit. If we look at our PS SEO box, we have our description URL, our title, our description, and our URL here. And the way that we made it look is, how it's going to look in Google. So you get a kind of a Google preview of it. But in the project manager, it's not quite that way, and it's not quite in order. So we're just going to do a small update. We already did the design rendering of it, and it's now going to look like this. We're going to change it so that when you're designing your title, your URL, and your description, it's going to look like a Google insert. It's going to work effectively the exact same way as what you see here. It's just going to change to be a real live preview of what you see in Google. And then the H1 being that it's the post title itself is going to stay the way it is. So you'll have your H1 and then you'll still be able to add notes and stuff like that. So that change is coming. Probably, this week sometime. And then the only other real thing that got a little bit of an update, a refresh, I would call it, is our link management tool. When you guys are building out affiliate links or whatever types of links that you want to track on your sites, and you want to use short codes on all your posts and pages versus putting in the link, we did a small little redesign on this as well. We just took away some ugly buttons so that you could get your click tracking stats from here. You guys should know that if you click over here, you can see you got graphs of who's seeing your link and clicking on it over time. And then if you hover over any of the link, you can kind of see these two little things coming up. And these are just quick accesses where you can either copy the short code to use in your posts and pages, or you can copy the masked URL so that you can share that on Facebook or Twitter, email, or whatever you want, really, so that it just looks like a real nice link. And it's, if you have this installed on your site, it will show your domain for the link. So for instance, How to Make Money with Bitcoin is this site, and my link for Coin Mama is actually, I'll put it in the address bar. It's howtomakemoneywithbitcoin.net/PS redirect = 1. So that's the bigger updates. They're more, nothing functionally is changing. It's more just being refreshed. I guess the other thing that did change functionally, I don't know if we covered it last time, I put a video up about it, but when we're building schemas, one of the things that kind of came up, let's say you're working on a schema, okay, and you have you go to add a schema and it becomes one of those child schemas. And what we had to do before was we had to kind of save what we're working on, go create a new schema for the child, build it all out, come back to what we were working on originally, and then insert it. We improved that functionality. So now what you can do is if you want to add a schema that is going to be a child type of schema, if you go ahead and add one, okay, it'll actually open that schema in a new window, and you can start building that schema right from here. I don't know why that's bugging out, Carla, because I'm on a webinar, of course. But you'll be able to add, there we go. You'll be able to add that child schema, fill out the fields that you want, name it, save it, and then it'll just show up in here so that you can continue on working. It's just an improvement on your workflow. The other thing is you'll also have access to edit them. If you already have assigned one and you want to edit it, you can click on the edit button. It'll load up the schema that you have there, and then you can edit it right from in here, save your changes. And then everything's just working within one place without having to save, go build a new one, come back and shit like that. And then if you want to add them, now we have a folder and it'll show you all your different schema types for organization or whatever that you're in that you have available to use. So it's another improvement on the schema builder as well. And Benji, are you planning to record this webinar and public then? What do you mean public? I don't understand what that means. But if you're asking if we're recording webinars and replaying them, the answer is, of course, yes. If you go to, I'll put this in the chat box. If you go to this link that's coming to you right now, okay, v3.projectsupremacy.com/webinars. This is where all the replays are. You scroll down a little bit and you can see it's a tabbed window of all of our replays. They all look the same, but trust me, they're different webinars. I just always put our nice little intro on there. And then the other thing that we added as well is the search box. So Bob Perot is always building his spreadsheet that, you know, breaks down each webinar into the speaker, the product, and the topic, and a quick little description. So if you guys want to search through all of these webinars for a particular topic, rather than having to come and watch all the webinar replays hoping for, you know, to find the topic, you can just come here now. And I finally made it so that you can search right here. Man, it took a long time to find this. One of the things I like to do just to show you how I use it, there's a lot of stuff I don't really need. So you can go to column visibility. I'll take out the webinar, I'll take out the time, and take out the speaker, you know, and leave it kind of like that, so it's nice and clean and open. And then I can do a search. So I can search, you know, if you're looking for a schema, you can just type in schema, and what it's going to give you is all the entries. So you can see 108 entries where we've talked about different things on schema. And then if you find the one, you know, so say you're looking for star ratings, let's do that one. Okay, so there we go. We have 5 different places amongst all the webinars that we've talked about schema. Okay, you can simply click on the YouTube link now, and it'll take you right to the YouTube video in the right time, so you can just watch that topic from there. So it's super, super fast now to be able to search through our webinars, so you guys can find shit really, really quickly. Brad, is there any way to apply schema to pages and posts that are already published? Yeah, it's absolutely. I would just do the same thing. I would search this box. Applying schema is simply building your schema and assigning it to a page. To be honest, Brad, you have to have a page in existence first to assign schema to it anyways. So the answer to your question is kind of like, you know, you said, is there any way to apply schema to a page or post that's already published? There's actually no way to assign schema to a page or post that's not published, unless you have like an HTML site and you just render out the schema like this and then you copy and paste that over. But you have to have the page or post published and then you assign it. Bridget, is Yoast still toast? We're still trying every day. Yeah, we're trying to replace them. I mean, now that I guess the big difference now between us and Yoast is, you know, we're a massive software suite, right, where we can do a lot of things. Whereas Yoast is really, I mean, they do a lot of things too, but I mean, we go as far as to building, you know, really in-depth schema. We have rank tracking, we have backups and stuff like that. the project planner, which Yoast doesn't have anything like that. So we do almost everything that Yoast does, but we also have a whole bunch more. Walt, do you add schema to every page or post? If so, what default schema do you start with for a general info content post? So with schema, no, you don't have to add schema to every page or post. You kind of have to look at your website as a whole, or look at your individual pages or posts and be like, okay, what schema is appropriate here? So if you're thinking, okay, what's a good default schema, you have to be like, okay, what type of site do I have first of all? So let's say, for instance, you have a local business site. Okay, you're obviously going to build an organization or a local business type schema, and then you can apply that to every page as a default schema. But sometimes certain pages have more information, or they're more specific, where a different type of schema or even an additional schema might be appropriate to use. So you have to look at schema as kind of like metadata, like the keyword description and the titles and the meta keywords. And it has to be, it should be specific to the page, right? So you can start with, what is my site about? Build that schema, apply it, and then go page by page on your site and say, okay, well, maybe something's more appropriate than others. So for instance, going back to my How to Make Money with Bitcoin site, I obviously have a brand, right, for that site, because my brand is How to Make Money with Bitcoin. But then on the How to Make Money with Bitcoin site, I review different products. So I'll review BitClub Network and I'll review USI Tech. So I'll add a product schema to that. If I'm just writing posts, specific posts of certain things, I'll put an article schema on there just because I want people to rate my blog posts, right? So I'll use article schema. And I was going to show you this, and then I wasn't going to show you this, but now I might as well show you this. This page, is something that I just created recently on my Bitcoin site for Canadians, like the best exchanges to buy Bitcoin in Canada. So I got a little bit of information here. I got a chart with the 4 places that you can buy Bitcoin, some information. I use Project Supremacy Link Manager to create short codes so that when people are clicking on any of these, I'm finding out who's clicking where. And then I also added the rating for this as well. So let's go into the page, and then I added schema to it. And the schema that I added for that particular post on a Bitcoin site is an article schema on Canadian Bitcoin exchanges, right? So this is a complete schema that's actually filled out, right? So we have image object, organization, another image object for the organization. So I have an image for the organization, which would be a logo of the organization. I have an image of the post that I'm rating, which is the actual image that I'm using for the post. Okay, so that's down here. If you go to social, I have this image, which, by the way, guys, if you did see me and Todd talking about AdBuddy, we're using AdBuddy to create these images, and I'll hop that link in there for you because I love using it. It's really fast, and I'll get back to your question in a second here to kind of not go on too many tangents. Let me just grab this link. Now that I have this software, AdBuddy, okay, it helps me create very nice images. Let me give you this link so that you guys can check this out. I did mail it out to you as well. Just one second. Okay, there you go. Let me get my thoughts back. Okay, so I created the post. I created article schema. I created an image for my organization, which is How to Make Money with Bitcoin. I created an image for the article, and then I applied an aggregate rating to it. And then I used AdBuddy to create the image, and then I used Open Graph to create a nice title, description, and image so that when this page gets shared on social media, I'm controlling how it looks on social media. So there's a lot of elements that are going into this page. So as far as schema specifically, yeah, I did apply the article schema to this page, but it's because this is appropriate for this page, right? So kind of to answer your question, Walt, there's no hard answer, right? You have to understand what your site and your pages on your site are about, and then apply the best schema for that situation to that site. And one thing, as I'm kind of talking about that, I do want to show you guys, if I'm creating a page now, there's a kind of a few steps. okay, to optimize a page the best way in 2018. So there's a bunch of things, okay? There's obviously keyword research, right? You wanna know you're going after the keywords. Then you wanna do the right type of on-page optimization, right? And that's the project planner to do keyword research. This is on-page optimization, once again, is the project planner, and I can actually show you the project plan for that that one. So let me show you how I created this page from scratch, basically. Where's my Canada group? Collapse all. There it is. Here it is, Canada. So let me just do this. So to follow in line with this, the best way to optimize a page in 2018. Okay, obviously number one is keyword research. Okay, so you can see, let me make this a little bigger too. I know Kath always likes the big stuff. Here's the keywords that I went after. They all relate to buying Bitcoin in Canada. Okay, so, and there's good search volumes in them. They look like they're decently easy to rank for. So I pulled in these keywords, organized them, and then I moved to step two. I need to optimize this page, right? So then I open up the page optimizer and I optimize using all the blending techniques that I've taught you guys amongst the title, description, H1, and URL. I create this block and fill it out based on the keywords, the competition, and the keyword cloud. Okay, so that's on-page optimization, your title, description, your H1, and your URL. Then what I do is once that's done, I create a new page from this group or a post, whatever you want, right? And what that does, it creates an empty page, but these elements are filled in by default for you. Then I go in, okay, and you can see there's the H1, there's the URL, there's the title, and there's the description. Okay, so now on-page optimization is done. Then you have to obviously, oh, you're gonna be like that, are you? Add content, right? So then I wrote a bit, I didn't write a lot, I just wrote a little paragraph of content and stuff like that, right? And added tables and shit like that, and we can go see the post itself. Okay, so there's the page with the content on it. So now that's done. Then I want to take care of the schema. So this is kind of a different, this is pissing me off, there we go. So then I want to add schema for this particular page, okay? So on this particular one, since it was kind of just like a quick article, that's the type of schema I added for this one, article schema, right? That's a different level of optimization for a different purpose. So these three, okay, if I turn this off, are all about ranking in Google and making it display the right way in Google. This one is about adding the extras that Google gives us, like adding article schema with aggregate rating is going to allow this to show up in Google with stars. Let's see if it's actually there yet. This post is brand new, so I'm not sure if it's there yet. It's not there yet. So, but when it does show up, guys, because I added schema to it, okay, this is going to get me star ratings in Google, right? Whereas these three steps, these are just gonna, they're gonna just get me in Google, right? So those steps are to get me in Google. This step is to get stars in Google. Then the last thing that I do to optimize, okay, is open graph. And what's this for? This is to for social sharing perfectly. Okay, like I don't know how to say it perfectly, like good images, good descriptions, content, shit like that. So that's done in the social walks, where you create a title, you create a description, and you supply an image for the post, right? So that when people want to share the URL on Facebook, it's going to show up very, very nicely. Let's go to Project Supremacy and I'll share it in there. Open Graph is what I'm about to show you, Jonathan. So Open Graph is this, okay? When you share a link in social media, okay? See how this image looks really good. It's the right dimensions. It's not being cut off anywhere. Facebook has as a strict set of rules on what dimensions your images should be to show up in Facebook so that they don't look like shit, so that they're not cut off or whatever. So your image, your title, and your description, okay, for this link that I'm sharing in Facebook is controlled by what's called Open Graph properties. And all you need to know, okay, to fill that out is go to the poster page, go to social, and fill it in right here. There's the title, there's the description, there's the image link, there's a preview of what it should look like when you share it on Facebook, and here's how it actually looks when you share it on Facebook. You can see it's 100% the exact same. So when you break down all these three categories, and the way to best optimize a page in 2018 now, there's a few elements, right? There's kind of like the old school meta optimization, right? Which is kind of, well, actually it's keyword research is always kind of its own beast or whatever, right? That's choosing what you want to rank for. And then the old school meta optimization, let's turn that off, okay, is optimizing your title, your URL, your H1, shit like that, right? So this is title, URL, description, and H1. And then your fifth element of optimization is your content, which you can also, guys, in the project planner, check how your content optimization is doing by going to general and putting in a seed keyword. So you can see right here, my target keyword, buy Bitcoin in Canada. I can see what my title length in Google is supposed to be like on desktop as well as mobile. I can see my description length on desktop devices as well as mobile. I can see what my keyword density is for, like, for instance, if I just use Bitcoin instead of buy Bitcoin in Canada, that'll change. Okay, if we spell it right. So there you go. I have a 0.72 density of 138 word article with the word Bitcoin. Bitcoin's also appearing in my page title, my page description, my page body, my URL, my H1, but I don't have any H2 or H3 tags on my page. So I can put in any word I want here to see how I'm optimized overall for those elements. So that's old school meta optimization, right? Then we have our fourth element, okay? Let me just get this back so it looks nice. Our fourth element is going to be new school schema optimization, right? And that's adding schema. Let me see if I can get this to work right again. There we go. Okay, and that's just adding schema to your pages, your posts, and shit like that. And then the final type of optimization you want to do is social optimization, right? So there's four levels. Well, there's three levels of optimization now in 2018 that you should be doing for every page you post. And then there's always, of course, keyword research, which I just include in that because you should always know what you want to rank for before you build a page or a post. And Project Supremacy helps you handle that, right? So that's just, I wasn't even going to go there or talk about that, but I guess it makes sense to talk about it now that you asked that question. So there's your four elements, guys, and Project Supremacy handles all those, and you should be taking advantage of each one of these things, right? To get the best overall experience for Google in the old way, Google in the new way, which is schema, as well as social, because all these elements come into play with rankings, with stuff like that. So that's kind of a real long answer, Walt, but hopefully that's good info for you guys. What plugin did I use to make those tabs? The search tab. Let me see. No. Table press is for tables. Oh wait, it's not on this one. Sorry, it's on V3. Let me check V3 for you. It's a plugin. The way I'm able to do it is I have to upload my spreadsheet to Google Docs, right? And then I install a plugin and I supply my public Google Doc URL, and it just shows up like that. This one, okay, it's called Inline Google Spreadsheet Viewer. So I'll just pop that in to you, Alex. Okay, and that, just so anyone wondering what the hell I'm talking about, it's just I create a Google Doc, or Bob actually is creating the spreadsheets for Google Docs, but adding that inline, that plugin, that inline Google Docs viewer allows me to do this. Okay, I supply, when I build this section of my site, okay, I just supply a link to my Google Doc, and then the plugin formats it to look like this and adds the search bar and adds column visibilities and PDFs and all these other great things. It's a really cool plugin. Yeah, you're welcome, Kath. She says, thanks so much, Todd, Herc, and Bob. Their replays are such a huge resource for the community. Good. Bob, in link management, any chance to be able to have a vanity link or change the PS redirect equals 1 to something else like PS track equals 1 or PS? No, not right now, Bob. I'll look at that, because I mean, maybe you don't like the word redirect in your URL or something, or I don't know. We'll look at that and maybe see if we can supply a different link or change the word. If you had to choose a word, Bob, tell me the word you would choose, because I'm not sure if we can make it so that you can choose any word you want. Brad Hoffman, you have 32,000 pages. Do you have to add it to one page at a time? Okay, I think you should go back and look at, there's no shortcutting a 32,000 page site. I'm assuming that you used a mass page builder to build a 32,000 page site. There's two types of schema. There's schema that you do correctly, and there's schema that you do kind of black hat, right? This site has spammy schema on it, where all I did was build one type of schema, a local business schema, and I chose to show it on every single page of my site. That's spammy schema, okay? And you can get the Google, the Webmaster Tools message in there. Your site is using, you have spammy structured data markup and shit like that. It works because this site's still going. It's still got all the ratings and shit like that. It's still ranking very well for a lot of the terms. Let's see, the Michigan, there it is, #1, okay? So it works, and the way to do that, Brad, is create one type of schema that matches your overall site content. So if it's a local business site, create a local business schema, force your homepage schema to every single page. That's the easy way to do it. The danger of that, it is spammy. It is definitely spammy, but you're probably already building a spammy site anyway. So just realize that it is a shortcut, and you could get caught with it. And eventually, if you do, you just build another one and throw it up again and see what happens. Jonathan, question. When you choose keywords, you're always choosing those which have so many listings and competition. How can I create keyword strings with less competition where I can rank on page 1, or can I rank on page 1 on high competition keywords? Jonathan, the answer to that is kind of, you just have to start trying to rank for stuff and get a feel for Google and competition metrics. So like, when I look at something like this, okay, where I put in these keywords and I see I have search volume, which is, you know, kind of the #1 thing I want to see. The next thing I look at is just these 4 competition elements: the broad match, the phrase match, in title, and in URL match. And I can tell just from looking at this now, because I have so much experience in ranking lots of other keywords, I know I can rank for these, okay? Even though this broad is red, broad is really the least important category. It's just a good signal. If you're seeing stuff with like only 1 million broad results, that's a good thing, right? It's really phrase, in title, and in URL, because what phrase is the actual phrase: buy BTC in Canada, where to buy Bitcoin in Canada. Phrase and more specifically in title and in URL are the more important numbers to look at, because those are the things that SEOs do. SEOs know that if I want to rank for buy BTC in Canada, it's usually pretty important that I have it in my title and in my URL, or at least in one or the other. And that should be a phrase that's appearing somewhere on my page, right? Whereas the broad match, really, by BTC Canada, there's 3 actual words that make up this keyword, by BTC and Canada. What broad match is saying is, let me show you results where these 3 keywords are showing up, showing up anywhere over the site, right? Not in order and not together, but anywhere. That's why broad's not as important, right? But phrase, in title, and in URL are more important. So it's just something that you kind of have to get a little bit more used to through experience. Just go for it, man. I've ranked for extremely hard keywords that are surprising. The other thing to look at too is always look at your competition for your keywords. So like by BTC Canada, one of the things that you want to do if you really want to, dig it down, is go look at who's ranking for what. So globalnews.ca, I already know that they're just ranking because globalnews.ca is an authority news site up here in Canada. But then remember the keyword by BTC in Canada, and what you could do is even press Control F and put that keyword in there, and you're going to see if it's in the title or in the URL anywhere of any of these sites. And I can see that it's not, right? It's not showing up in any of these, but these are the first page listings for that keyword. So there's an opportunity there for somebody to come along and optimize better than any of these sites are doing. These sites are showing up mostly because they're probably authority sites. So if I optimize better, I put Schema on there and I send in a couple links so that I can bump up my authority for that page and my trust for that page. And then I do things like social sharing, right? Which is going to get me onto social and get me likes and shares and stuff like that. Then I start building a lot of the signals that Google wants to see, and I can outrank a lot of these sites, right? And you should do that for every keyword, really, is just take a quick peek at the first page and see what's going on. And just so you guys know, with the social share, I'll kind of show you what I did, like to kind of create the next steps after you've done this. I always have, before I'm with a site, I always have like a Facebook page set up for my site. And then once my post is done, like once all these steps are done, I optimize it properly for literally every scenario. The first thing I'll do is I'll go to the page that matches that site. So let's go over to Facebook. Okay, and I'm gonna look at my page for that actual site. There it is. So once my post is, I have my keywords done, I have my optimization done, I have my schema built, I have my open graph. First thing I do is I come to my site and I share my post on my page and I start getting people to like it and share it. Once I have a few likes and shares, then what I'll do is I'll actually boost the post, right? In Facebook, I'll spend like, $5, $10, $20 on it to get more likes and shares. And the reason that I do that is that when Google comes along and sees this page eventually, it's optimized, it's got schema on it, it's got ratings on it, but the more important thing is it's got the social signals as well, right? Because I've optimized for social, and it gives me the best absolute chance to rank for everything. Bruce, can you compare AdBuddy to AutoPixar? Unfortunately, no, because I don't know what AutoPixar is. Evenji, but description tag is not always displayed in Google snippet. Yeah, so you're talking about this. When you go and you optimize for, you tell it what you want your title to be, you tell it what you want your description to be, and then Google comes along and they replace your description with their own. Well, that's just Google. You can't control Google. You could supply a description, and there's a lot of argument out there whether you want to supply a description or not, because Google can choose their own description or not based on the keyword that's entered for that page. So for instance, if I was ranking for a couple keywords for this page, actually, let's look at a different group that I know I'm ranking for. Big Club. Okay, this keyword group. Okay. So let's look at some of these. So Big Club Network Review. So let's go look at that in Google. Actually, let's look at my description as well. Oh, I left it blank here. Okay, but let's do this anyways. Let me close some of these pages. Okay, so there's my site, Big Club Network Review, and the description is update September 3rd, 2017, blah, blah, blah. They literally pulled the first few words off my page and supplied it as a description, right? Let's look at a different keyword though. So BitClub network mining. For that keyword, I never even optimized for the word mining. Okay, here I am again. Same description. I was thinking it might change, but sometimes it will change. So it's up to you, Avengi, if you want to like supply your description or not, because you know that Google can change it, but I usually do. I usually do anyways. Rick, where do you post these snippets of info, Google Docs? What do you mean, Rick? Where do I post which snippets of info? Sorry. I probably was talking about it when you asked the question, but now I don't know. Alexi Ditchuk, I see your project for a first time. Please tell me about your rank tracker. Do you mean about the project planner or do you mean about the rank tracker? Because we have both. See, we have a rank tracker inside of Project Supremacy, which tracks keywords, but we also have the project planner, which helps us. It's a dashboard for all our pages and posts on our site where we can optimize for them, but it has the rank tracking built into it as well. What I would do, Alexi, is just go to the webinar replay page, okay, and do a search for this. Okay, project planner or project management. Okay, these are all YouTube videos where we talk about project planner. Yeah, they're both in Project Supremacy though, Alexi. So this is Project Supremacy dashboard, right? And this is Project Supremacy plugin. Do you own Project Supremacy? I guess that would be a good starting point. Okay, yeah, then you probably should come in and just use the webinar replay button and search for the topics that you want more information about, because we definitely have covered, we've definitely covered how to use this feature, and it is super, super awesome. It's just very, very unique, right? Most people, when they see it, they're like, I don't even know what this is or how to use it, but it is very, very cool. The other thing you should watch too, Alexi, is these two. So on the webinars replay page, you can see the $135 or $135,000 affiliate site and a $400 per month 5-page site. I talk about the project planner in both of those videos as well. So it's just extra good information to see how to use that project planner. Rick, the plugin name, you probably want to know the plugin name for. I'll post it in the chat, and it is inline. Whoops, spreadsheet viewer. Okay. Plugin to display Google Docs nicely on your WP sites. There you go. Okay, where was I? When you hide the PSv3 on the WordPress menu, it works great, but it still shows on each article posted under the page. Can you hide that? My client sometimes messes your shit up. Yeah, let me write that down. Good suggestion. So what he's talking about, guys, is I'll show you actually. So we can hide the plugin. So if you're using Project Supremacy for clients, okay. So I'm going to go into my my site manager, and let's say this Bitcoin site was a client site. Let's just use our imaginations here. Okay, so how to make money with Bitcoin. And you can see this is the actual site, right? Where if I'm in WordPress, I can see Project Supremacy plugin, and your client will be able to obviously see Project Supremacy plugin, and they might come in and start playing around with shit and it'll break it on you, right? get to my dashboard. I don't know, site error so much. What you could do is actually hide this from your client, right? By just doing this right here. You go to the site manager and you click hide plugin. Okay, so what it does is when I refresh this page, this will disappear so that the client actually can't even see what's going on. But what Alex is saying is when you go to the posts or the pages, there's still elements of project supremacy that are still showing up that the client can edit, such as the PS SEO box. And he wants that hidden as well. When we're hiding the plugin, he wants them to hide this. And that's a good suggestion. We'll do that for sure. Yeah, I see a couple people that want to rename the thing. We'll look at it, guys. The one thing that I'm worried about, I'll tell you this right now, guys. The one thing that I'm worried about, I gotta go unhide my plugin. The one thing I'm worried about changing the URL of the redirects, or our link manager redirects, is that it'll break all the existing links that are already there. So we'll look into it, and we'll see if we can do it. AJ, if you're taking over a client site and it needs the title, description, and URL change, should we submit the sitemap again, also on fetch and render? The only time I use the submit, the sitemap, and the fetch and render is when I just want to naturally speed up the process, like I'm an impatient person or whatever. Google does crawl your site on a regular basis anyways, especially if it's already been there. So you can leave it to happen naturally, or you can force it. So it's kind of up to you, AJ, what you want to do. If I want to see things happen fast, I do it. So like that new post I made about the Canadian Bitcoin exchanges, I wanted it to happen fast. So I went into Google Webmaster Tools for that site and did a fetch and render and submit to sitemap because I just want it to be fast. Rick, you're doing a website for Smile Makeover, and when you check the phrase match, practically none of the websites that rank well, my competitors have the phrase match for any terms. Does that mean I have a good chance of knocking them off? Yeah, I would say so. I think Google still like puts some emphasis on an actual phrase match of a keyword, right? I'm still doing SEO this way, where the main keyword that I want to rank for, you can see it's the exact same keyword in my URL. There it is, BitClub Network Reviews in my URL, and it's also in my first as well in my post title, and it's ranking #1. This guy has it not first but second, and I know 99 Bitcoins. He's a huge authority site, so he has way more authority than I do. But you can also see that he's got it in his title. This guy has it in his title. This is what I was talking about when you want to see the keyword in the title or the URL. You can do a Control F on the page and search for the keyword, and it'll highlight everything. So result number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, and 10 all have the exact match keyword in the title. So if you want to rank for that keyword, you should probably do what a majority of the other people are doing as well, right? And if you want to check it for the URL, just put in the little hyphens in the URL, right? Because you'll be able to see it. So I have it, and this guy has it. And look at that, 187,000 results. Super easy to rank for. Which social signals plugin am I using? I've used a whole bunch. I don't even really know. Like any one of them is good. On this one, let's see, what am I using on this one? Add to any share buttons. It really doesn't matter. There's so many. Waiki, who you thought with Facebook all Bitcoin related content is banned. Bitcoin related advertisements are banned, not content. So I could still post about Bitcoin on Facebook, and if it goes viral, it goes viral. But I can't pay for shit on Facebook anymore. Maybe I should do a webinar on recommended plugins. I recommend Project Supremacy. I recommend Google XML sitemaps. contact form 7 is kind of something that I use. I don't know, like if you see like a site like this, guys, that has a shit ton of plugins on it, probably is because I'm trying out a bunch of different stuff, just like experimenting. But I mean, Project Supremacy, like starting a new site, guys, like I'll literally use like 2 to 4 plugins. I would use Project Supremacy, I'd use AMP Supremacy, I'd use Contact Form 7 for my contact page, and I would use Google XML sitemaps. And that's really all that, oh yeah, and then a social sharing plugin, sorry, one more. So that's 5. And that's really all I would need. Everything else is just to like get some sort of functionality built in. Like for instance, I know I sometimes write a post and I'm like, ah, shit, I want it to be a page. So I'll use a post to page plugin, right? Stuff like that. Bob, is rank tracking and project management the same thing? And as in keyword usage plan, can you use unlimited keywords in project management, or are they limited with your plan? Everything is limited within the plan. We can't do unlimited anything because it does cost us money to get you the results. But the rank tracking, so like for instance, in a project, if you choose to track the keywords from within the project, I'll explain the difference here. So let's do this. Let's actually go back to that Canada group. You can see right now, where is it? I always like to, I'm starting to get a lot of pages and posts on this, so I like collapsing stuff. Canada, okay, so right now, we're actually not tracking any of the keywords yet, right? But if I want to track the rankings of these keywords, there's 2 ways I could do it. Number 1, and I'll just do it right now. I'm going to select all the keywords because I want to know where I rank for all of them. I go to the Actions tab, and I go to Track Keyword Rankings, okay? And it'll load up the keywords. It'll ask me what search engine. I obviously want google.com. And then I add the keywords. Okay, so that's 5 keywords that I'm adding to my rank tracking allowance, or subtracting from my rank tracking allowance. Obviously, me being the developer of the plugin, I have a shit ton of everything. The other place that you could do it is in the rank tracker itself, okay? So those 5 keywords that I added on the project will now be shown on the project itself, which I find very, very helpful, but it'll also show in the rank tracker for that site, okay? So here's the how to make money with Bitcoin site, and here's all the keywords that I'm tracking, right? So there's the keywords that I'm tracking. It now shows up in this list, but from this list, I can add as many other keywords as I want, and it will show up in this list, but it will not show up here. The only way you can get rank tracking here is you have to supply, or you have to select the keywords that you want to track within the group and say track them, and then that will show up in both places. But if you add a keyword here, it'll only show up here. And yes, there is limits to how much you can track. You can go to your account, and you should know by right here. Okay, rank tracking, you'll have whatever, a lot of good. Depending on when you bought, like when we first released this, we obviously always give the best deals to the first buyers. You'll have a lot of shit. If you're just a $37 a month plan, you'll have 300 keywords. I think the 77 is 800, and then the other one's 1500 or whatever. But yeah, there's limits to everything. There's limits to even in here when we're pulling our competition metrics. So broad phrase, in title, and in URL. That's these guys right here. There is a certain amount that will allow you to pull before we'll either ask you to pay for more or stop you from doing it, because we don't want to have people have free reign on all this shit, because it could be abusive. Well, the way we're doing it is in the background. Todd has a server with like 2,000 proxies, and we run it internally, but we can't have people abusing it, so we do have to limit it. Same thing with volume and CPC. This data is pulled directly from AdWords, okay, which, you know, most people know they go into AdWords and they get the ranges now. We can still get the exact data from the project planner, but we have to limit it, because if people just abuse the shit out of that, Google will actually cancel our availability to use this, and we'll lose it for everybody. So we have to be careful with how much we allow people to use it. Rick, where do you post these snippets of info that you create on screen? I'm still not quite sure what snippets of info you're talking about. Are you talking about these? Like on the webinar replay page? Like in the search box, these snippets of info? Rick? I'm just not sure what snippets you're talking about. Oh, this? Yeah, I don't post these. These are just in the replay. You have to come back to the replay and rewatch them. You want this? I mean, it is in the replay as well. You can take a screenshot of it or something like that, I guess. Alex, about the PSv3 on schema render, I'd like to know Google finds this for footprint. We may get penalized. Is that possible? No, because Yoast does it too, and everyone uses Yoast. HTML comments are just comments. So he's asking about, so for instance, if I press Control U on this page and I look at the code, this is really what Google reads, right? They don't actually visit the site and look at it and be like, oh, it's so pretty. They actually read this shit. And specifically, what they really read is what's in the head tag, right? But what he's talking about is when we do schema, we put comments, right? To say like, we're the one making this comment. And like, for instance, I use a plugin called MailerLite for my subscriptions. They put comments. And then if we do webmaster verifications, we put comments. Facebook puts comments. The reason these guys are putting comments on this shit is so you, the owner, know what's what. Like if none of these comments were there, it would just be a bunch of gobbledygook and you'd be like, what's where and why is it there? It's not, I wouldn't call this at all a footprint, okay? Project Supremacy isn't doing anything wrong. It's an optimization plugin, just like Yoast. Yoast does the same thing. So these aren't footprints, even though it is on every site, right? But a footprint is something that's an obvious pattern that you're doing that's against the Google terms of service, right? Kind of, I think a lot of people confuse what a footprint is. It's like a hot word and they get very, very worried about it. Footprint. And it's like, no, you have to understand a footprint. What a footprint is once again, Google is looking for a specific pattern of things across sites that are breaking the TOS. Not every site has Project Supremacy installed on it. They're like, who gives a shit? Like, just like Yoast, right? I can't believe how many of you guys want a webinar on plugins. I'm seeing more comments about this. Maybe I'll have to do a plugin sheet or something. I don't know. Do you guys want to see the plugins that I have stored in my in here? Because obviously my plugin repository is the most important shit. So well-known URIs, I don't even know what that is anymore. AMP Supremacy Content Locker Pro. It's a social sharing plugin. Convert Bar. That's for drop downs. So like add buddy review. Let's show you. I'll show you what each of these do. So it might be turned off right now. Here, let me mute this. It's not on this one, but when it drops the screen down and it has a nice little timer and an action button, that's a tool that I use for like scarcity shit and like timers. That's Convert Bar. Crusader Security is a security plugin. Custom 404 error pages. I don't really use that anymore. Duplicate post I use a lot. It just allows me to duplicate an entire post. It just recreates the entire post. I use that a lot when I want the same format and I just need to go in and change the information. Duplicator is another version of that. Easy plugin for AdSense I no longer use. Google XML sitemaps. Okay, there's more. Local Supremacy, obviously. Stat Counter plugin. Fuck, I'll just have to do a webinar about all this shit. Spider Spanker, obviously, for my PBNs. Let me get back to questions here. in my planner for Smile Makeover, I have about 30 or more keywords. Would you break these into a number of pages? And if so, how many keywords max would you go for on a page? Rick, you should definitely go and look at some of the past webinars where I talk about this stuff. But yeah, especially the keyword research ones that I've done. But you can see, like, if you look at even these live groups, you know, it depends how many variations of a keyword, like invest in Bitcoins, Bitcoin investment, Bitcoin investing in Bitcoin, invest in Bitcoin, how to invest in Bitcoin, Bitcoin investing, and then all of a sudden there's a Bitcoin investment trust, Bitcoin investment fund. Okay, other than these two keywords, okay, all of these keywords, there's like 8 here, they're all like so similar that I can literally try and rank for them all. This one I have 5. On this one I have, you know, 6. You can put as many keywords into a group as you want, as long as when you go to do the optimization for that group of keywords, you've literally almost covered everything amongst your title, URL, description, and H1, right? And this is where the keyword cloud comes in really good. Okay, like we know in this group of keywords where there's a lot of shit, the most important stuff that I have to optimize for is Bitcoin investment or invest, you know, or investing, right? Bitcoins is plural of Bitcoin, and then fund and trust are like 2 extra keywords that I mean, really I should have those should be on their own group, and I should optimize for those specifically, right? Because a trust and a fund is, or I could put those in my content and make them H2s, have like a Bitcoin investing page, and then have a section about a Bitcoin investment trust and a Bitcoin investment fund. But if I'm really worried about ranking for these keywords, if I'm really truly want to rank for this particular keyword, I would create a new page or post and optimize specifically for that keyword. Because remember, the most important places to put the keywords that you truly want to rank for are going to be your title and your URL. The second most important places are going to be your description and your H1. And the third most important place is going to be in your content itself. So you have to keep those all in mind when you're optimizing your pages. 30 keywords in a single group, Rick, yeah, that's just too many. I would break those down for sure. And that's where when you go back and look at my, like any of my research videos, okay, so like crypto gambling research, I always pull in huge lists and I start organizing them into smaller groups that I know I'm going to use later on. Like this group got one, and I could tell which groups I'm actively working on, because stuff that's in lowercase is groups that Google brought in. And then stuff that's in all uppercase are actual groups that I'm going to use and move to my live page. So I would definitely do a search on the webinars for my keyword research strategists and watch those. Do you recommend placing schema.org on every page with the content? I kind of already answered that one. Neil, you created a page on screen to show how to rank in 20. Oh, okay, that was the answer to this. Your guess is that Eric's referring to these notes. Okay, yeah. Herc, send out a plugin or PDF, or better yet, make it available in the dashboard. I guess the reason I've never done a thing on plugins, guys, is just like I figured everybody has their own little unique, you know, set of plugins that they like to use, and I just didn't need to go over covering extra plugins and stuff like that, I guess. I don't know. You can click on the cloud and we'll show you the words to use. Yeah, the cloud's pretty awesome. I definitely use the cloud to help me optimize now, because I used to talk about keyword boiling. If you go way back into like V2 when I was teaching how to use the project planner, we didn't have the keyword cloud. So I would teach a technique called keyword boiling. And what it basically was you take all your keywords in your group, right? And you put them in a notepad. And I'll show you why the cloud's important, because we always take manual processes and automate them. And boiling is what I did to help me optimize what was truly important keywords to go for. So this is what I would do. I would take the keywords, I'd put them into a notepad, and then I'd take the first word of the first keyword, and then I'd find it and erase it everywhere else in every other keyword. So there's buy, I'm going to erase it there. I'm going to erase it there. I'm going to erase it there. And then I would continue on doing that. Now buy Bitcoin in Canada. So I would erase Bitcoin. I would erase Bitcoin. I would erase Bitcoin. and then Canada. So now I'm going to take out Canada. Now I'm going to take out Canada. I'm going to take out Canada. I'm going to take out Canada. Okay, in is the next one. Take out in, take out in. How is the next one? How's not there. To is the next one. Take out to. Where is the next one? It's gone. By is supposed to be gone already. And BTC is the last one. So there we go. Now what I've done is I boiled down my entire list of keywords into all the actual words that exist in all those keywords. So can I turn this into a sentence that makes sense? You know what I mean? How to buy Bitcoin in Canada, right? And where? So how to buy Bitcoin in Canada and where. The only word I didn't get in there is BTC. And I could have done it like this. Okay, so really guys, that boiling technique, what I just did there is I created a sentence that makes sense. It's English readable, and I can use as my title. I can use it as my H1. I can use it as my URL would be stupid, but I could use it in my description. And I know that this title or wherever I use this sentence is literally optimized somewhat for every keyword in this group. All right, does that make sense? That's how I used to boil shit down. But the keyword cloud, what that did is it kind of did the same thing. It singularized every word, but the nice thing is it told me, look, buy is in 5 of those keywords. Canada is in 5 of those keywords. Bitcoin is in 4 of those keywords. So I really know that the more important ones are the bigger ones, okay? And then I can also look at my descriptions and shit like that, or my metrics, sorry, I'm trying to make this a little bigger, and be like, okay, what do I really want to optimize here for? Most importantly, I know that this sentence is a great sentence and it's optimized for everything, but can I further optimize it, or is there something that's more important? So these 2 keywords, for instance, buy Bitcoin Canada and buy Bitcoin in Canada, have a shit ton of search volume, 10,000 searches a month each, and they don't have a lot of in title or in URL. So I know that those 2 keywords are literal gold mines, meaning I want to optimize even further for those 2 keywords, but keeping in mind what's going on here. So I might now change this sentence to something like this: buy Bitcoin in Canada, right? How and where to do it. Okay, so now I've got a shit ton of all the original keywords in the sentence, but my main keyword, buy Bitcoin in Canada, which has a lot of traffic and low competition, is now strongly optimized in my title. So what did I actually use for my title? Let's look at that. Okay, so this one would have been good to do, right, as well. But I could use that for my H1 as well. So look at, you can see what I did here. Buy Bitcoin, I used the same keyword, and then how and where to do it, really not that important of words. I used leading Canadian BTC exchanges to make a better title, right? And then how did I get the how and where shit in there? The top exchanges by Bitcoin, if you're searching for how to buy BTC in Canada, look no further here at the top. So where it doesn't, I'm not optimized for the word where, but it's such a minor word. That's kind of how I optimize. I look at everything. Like, I don't just look at one thing, I look at everything. Does that make sense to you guys? Is that helpful at all? I know it's a lot. I could literally go over the project planner every single day, and I think somebody would take something new from it. Because it really, optimizing, guys, really is more of an art than it is a science, right? The other thing that I'm not even, like, I already kind of covered this in the past, but you should also always be looking at what is Google showing for each of those keywords, like, you know what I mean? And using the Control F function and looking at your keywords and seeing, like, what are other people doing in their titles and their URLs, and are they, you know, this guy, it's in the title, it's in the title, it's in the title, it's in the title. I know I want it in the title, but I want to be more optimized than these guys. I need to put it in the front of the title. It's in the middle, it's in the middle, it's in the middle, it's in the middle, right? And then in the URL, if I want to do it, okay, this is the only guy that has it in the URL, and it's not heavily optimized. It's not in the front. He's got the how do I. You could tell this guy right here, how do I buy Bitcoin in Canada? And then his URL is how do I buy Bitcoin in Canada? he's super optimizing for that specific keyword exactly. Okay, and he's the only guy that's doing it. Now he's up against some big ass ditties, right? Just turn on the Moz bar if you want to see, but authority site. Don't really know if it's an authority site. You'd have to look at the metrics. Authority site, authority site, authority site, and then him. Authority site. Like, there's a keyword that you could go after. You know what I mean? So it's just a thing of like knowing, looking big picture, looking at all the elements, optimizing properly for all the keywords, being strong where you need to, being weak where you can, but still including it. Is there any issue with the Bitcoin trademark? No, Bitcoin's not trademarked. Yeah, it does have to make sense. Your title, guys, the thing with your titles, they're so important. The title and the description and the URL specifically are really, really important. And the reason why is because those are the things that are going to show up in Google, right? Your title, your URL, and your description is literally, if you think about it like this, guys, these are classified ads in the newspaper, right? And Google is a classified ad delivery service. And you get to add your classified ad to Google, but the only way to optimize for it is to do what we do as SEOs. You need to be the best classified ad out there to get the clicks. So how can we do that, right? Number one, optimize for the keyword that you're trying to rank for very well. Number two, God damn it. Number two, write really catchy head titles and descriptions that when people read it are like, yes, this is what I'm looking for, or yes, I'm curious about what you're saying. I need to click on this. Number three, add schema so that you can get results like this, because that classified ad stands out amongst all the other ones just because it has stars on it. So it's going to get more clicks even though it's not in the first place. So that's kind of what I'm saying. You really have to look at everything, right? And it's an art. It's not a science. It's definitely an art. AJ says the best way to create the description is to look at Google Ads. Yeah, people that are paying money for shit. The description is more of a call to action. I mean, they both are, yes. And that's the thing, guys. You're blending, right? You're kind of blending. When you're writing your titles and you're writing your descriptions, you're kind of having to blend two things. Number one, they need to be keyword optimized enough for Google to make it, to see it as relevant, but they need to be written for the viewer so that they want to click on it, right? And that's an art. Writing is an art, but you're having to please two audiences. You have to please Google so that you rank, and then you have to please the person who's reading it so that they'll actually click on it. So you kind of have to keep that shit in mind, I guess. How do you export those keywords? We don't have an export function built into these. Usually the lists are so small. I mean, why would you want to export these, by the way? Just out of curiosity. Not, I would just wonder. Doing lead capture, is it okay to put a phone number in the description? Absolutely. In fact, it's probably pretty smart if you're doing lead capture. I think I did do that with oh, by the way, guys, my Bitcoin site finally got negative SEO'd. After all the years of showing it online, somebody finally got negative SEO'd it. So I lost a whole bunch of rankings. I'm in the process of cleaning up all the negative spam and shit like that, but this is what happens when you show your shit live on webinars and then put the replays public, but whatever. Yeah, I know I put the phone number in one of my titles on one of my sites. I just can't remember which one it was. But yeah, I would, to answer your question. Oh, hour and 20 minutes. Anybody else got any more questions? I've caught up. Let me take a drink of water here real quick. If you guys have more questions, just type them in. How do you clean up negative SEO? One sec. Hey Todd, you came unmuted there. Well, basically, Sylvie, you have to have, I might as well show you this. You have to have your site hooked up with Google Webmaster Tools or Search Console or whatever you want to call it. There's a bunch of names for it, okay? And I do this with sites that I care about, okay? I do want Google to see the information because I want to see Google's information. I want to react to it and stuff like that with sites I care about. But how I know I was negatively SEO'd is you can go to your Google or where is it? Is it search traffic? Yeah, you can go to search traffic and then go to links to your site, okay? And you can see I have a total of 1,734 links. And then if you click in on the more info, okay, so these are the sites that are linking into my site, and this is how many links from that site are coming into my site. Some of this shit just seems super unnatural, okay? So you can see this guy sent 145 links. You can go visit the site, right? Or you can see where he's linking as well, but you can also go visit the site. A lot of these are shit sites, they're crap sites. And you can see how many links they're linking in. They're there to unbalance my link profile. Actually, look at that. You can even hover and see what they look like. But yeah, so what I do is I download this list and I find, or I'll go research the sites. It's kind of a shitty process, but it's important. I'll download this table. I'll go visit the sites, see if they're legitimate, see if they're shit. If they're shit, I'll create a text file of all the domains, and then I'll submit a disavow file to Google. Okay, so once you're done, and I'll show you what that looks like. I think it's my messages. Okay, so disavow file uploaded for how to make money with Bitcoin. Okay, you can just type, once you're logged into search Google, you can type in disavow Google tool and it'll bring you here, and then you can disavow links. And all you're doing is you're uploading a link file. Okay, so I'll download the one that I uploaded. Okay. And you're telling Google, please ignore these links when looking at my my site and when deciding how to rank it and shit like that. Okay, so here's what a disavow file looks like for me. I said I want you to ignore every link. Then I put in domain : because I wanted them to ignore the entire domain. So I ended up with 33 domains. I probably could have went deeper, but I deleted. I told Google to ignore all those. And my rankings are slowly coming back, but I probably have to do more. AJ, is there any way that you can use the word tracker for non-WordPress sites? No, that one's built. It's built into where you're installing the plugin. Any last questions? Looks like we're getting towards the end here. You know, a great tool to remove URLs that get crawl errors in the search console. Share it in the group, AJ, in the Project Supremacy group. People would love to have it. Can I find out who negatively SEO'd me? Well, I could go look at each of the sites and see if there's any. So when I look at all the sites that are linking to me and they're shit, I could go and do whois lookups on those and see if there's any commonalities between the sites. Usually it's not an easy thing to find out specifically who did a negative SEO campaign on you. Rob, it's always recorded and replayed on the replay page. Webmaster Tools bulk URL remover. This, I believe, is for removing URLs from the index on sites that you own, not for removing URLs that are linking to you. And yeah, it says right there, temporarily remove URLs that you own. So that won't work with taking out links. The disavow tool is for ignoring links that you don't want Google to count towards your SEO profile. How do you know how many people Bitcoin in Canada or some other keywords in Google? Avenji, that's from the project planner. Like you're saying, how do you know how many people are searching for it? Is that the question? I got logged out. Okay, yeah, that's called your volume, and it's in the link or the project manager. When you search for keywords, it'll tell you, right? You should watch the how do I do keyword research, because when I do keyword research, I actually import a whole bunch of keywords at first, and I can see the volumes and shit like that. But I'm gonna load this one just to show you. You're talking about this volume column. That's how I know. This is data straight from Google. And it's still an approximation. It's not exact, okay? Just always remember that. These are always guidelines, not exact sciences. But this data is from Google. Google's saying approximately 110,000 people over the last year have been searching for the keyword Bitcoin mining. So it's in the project planner. Or you can also use different keyword tools. I mean, that's basically what the objective of a keyword tool is to tell you how much searches it gets, what it costs to pay for that click in Google, and then how competitive that keyword is to rank for in Google. Where can you look at this data in Google? Well, you can't. It's basically AdWords, right? You go into the AdWords keyword research tool, but most people that are in AdWords aren't going to see the exact number. They're going to see a range, and the ranges go from 0 to 100, 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000, 10,000 to 100,000, and 100,000 to 1,000,000. You won't see an exact number. You'll see a range. Unless you're spending a lot of money on AdWords, then you'll see the exact number. But with Project Supremacy, you'll get I call it the exact number, but it's still an approximation. It's just better than a range. Is Keyword Supremacy integrated into Project Supremacy? The only way that Keyword Supremacy is integrated into Project Supremacy is one-click login. So we put that tab in Project Supremacy. If you have a Keyword Supremacy account, you just go to your settings and you supply your Keyword Supremacy username and password, or email and password. And once that's saved, then you can click on the Keyword Supremacy tab and it will log you right in. But as far as like any other further integration, no, they're two completely different systems. But this is a keyword research tool as well. The data in here though comes from SEMrush, not from Google. And SEMrush is far behind Google. And the reason we did that is if the volume of people looking for keywords on a keyword tool is really, really huge. And if Google saw that we were pulling their data into our tool, they would not like it very much. So we use an API through semrush.com. But our functionality is still a lot different than SEMrush. Rick, did you say the volume in the planner was over the last year? I thought it was the past month. I think it's an average of the last 12 months, at least the last time I haven't been in the AdWords keyword planner tool for so long. But I mean, you could see the last year's data, and then I can't remember what it is. I thought it was the last year. You might be right. It might be the last 30 days, but you can see both in the keyword tool anyways, in AdWords keyword planner tool. Would be nice to import keywords from Keyword Supremacy with SEMrush data. You kind of can, Walt. I mean, not like specifically without leaving, but like if you go and you do keyword research in Keyword Supremacy and then you save the keywords that you actually like into your saved keyword list. So like, for instance, I'm doing Bitcoin casino shit. I can download that group of keywords, copy keywords from group, right? And there's my keywords. And then I just copy those, and then I go into my project manager, and I would actually, let me do it in a different group, but let's do crypto gambling. I'll load this group, and what I do is actions, create new group, right? And then we got to call it something, and I'm going to call it import from KWS, right? And then where'd it go? Right here. And then I go to the Actions tab and I go to Add New Keywords and I just paste that right in. And I click Add. So it's not really, yeah. And then you're not getting the ad data as well. You're right. We'll think about that. We'll work on that definitely, because it would be nice to just you know, have a button here and say import this into Keyword Supremacy, and then it'll say, you know, what site, and then it'll say what project, and then you just click go and it loads the data for you. The only thing though is that remember that the data that we're pulling here is from SEMrush, and the data that we're pulling from Keyword Supremacy is from Google AdWords. So you might pull it in from SEMrush and then update it, and you'll get the Google AdWords stuff. It's kind of up to you. Bruce, is there a list of better buyer keywords people search for on any given topic? You know what you should do, Bruce, is go to keywordsupremacy.com. Okay. Actually, you know what? I'll even do this for you guys. Anyone can have a free Keyword Supremacy tool account. You can't. The free accounts allow you to find the keywords, but the let me pause this for a second. The free accounts allow you to find the keywords, but you need credits in order to get the data, like the competition data, the URL data, and shit like that. Credits are cheap, but definitely go to anyone that doesn't have a Keyword Supremacy account that wants one. Go to let me Jesus, get my brain fog going. Where's my chat box? Here you go, guys. Go here, okay, and you can if you share this page. You can sign up for the free Keyword Supremacy account. And then if you want, you'll have like 10 days where you can get a really good deal on Keyword Supremacy credits. Like if you go to the sales page, just keywordsupremacy.com, you'll see that we offer packages for sale. But on the free accounts, when you sign up, there's a better deal on the inside that's on a 10-day timer. But to get back to your question, Bruce, watch this video right here. Click this one or the link that I just gave you. You don't need buyer keywords, man. I make money without buyer keywords, and that whole webinar was based on how to make money and how to optimize your sites for non-buyer keywords, because everyone's always said you got to have buyer keywords, you got to have buyer keywords, but you don't. You can make money with non-buyer keywords. You can make money with search terms like how do I back up my iPhone? That's not a buyer keyword. Like it's a research base, but I made like $30,000 with sites that targeted keywords like that. But buyer keywords typically are review, bonus, scam, like the shit like that, or custom is another one, custom whatever, add that to any type of keyword because people who look for custom shit, they want to customize, so it's a good buyer keyword, stuff like that. AJ, yeah, I know I've got a whole bunch of gambling Bitcoin sites already that I'm actually building a gambling site for Bitcoin that we're going to over the shoulder record the whole thing. I can show you kind of where we're at with that. Wait a minute, one sec. Let me get to my desktop. Yeah, here we go. This is what is coming, all going to be shot in video. Building a new affiliate site from scratch using Project Supremacy. So I'm going to talk about market research. We're obviously going after cryptocurrency gambling. I'm going to talk about hosting and email setups, getting both your domain email plus the Google email. I'm going to talk about creating brand syndication right away. So your Facebooks, your Twitters, your Google Plus. I'm going to show you how to set up WordPress really, really quickly and what plugins to use, obviously, and including all the pixels and tracking codes that you need. I'm going to go into keyword research and site planning. That's Project Planner. Going to go into meta optimization for the pages. We're going to talk about getting content. We're going to talk about finding the affiliate programs. We're going to talk about schema optimization. And those are all the steps to building an affiliate site. From there, it'll go into offsite, basically PBN shit, right? So this is a course that I'm going to shoot. That's the syllabus of it. It's going to be for free for the guys that bought the lab from us, and then we're going to sell it to everybody else. You guys being PSv3 members will get it a lot cheaper than where we offer it anywhere else. But it's a lot of work. Could you think about a bundle for keyword supremacy and local supremacy for the long-term project supremacy users that does not have the money to buy those at the time? You want keyword and local supremacy? We don't sell local supremacy on its own. Dale, why don't you reach out to us, either Facebook or email or support desk or whatever, and tell us what it is exactly that you want. Well, local, I know local we don't sell on its own, sure. Yeah, that affiliate site training is pretty in depth. It's really, to be honest, you guys, I've probably already covered every single aspect of what I'm going to teach you on that site, just not in an organized, step-by-step fashion. But literally through these webinars that we're doing on V3, I've probably covered each of those topics on its own in these videos. So you could get all that information just from the free content we give you every week. But that affiliate course is really meant to like focus down on a step-by-step procedure, at least the one that I use. But it should be a pretty cool course. It'll be video based, over the shoulder of me doing it. And I'll probably ramble and ramble and ramble like I do on webinars. All right, guys, I guess last chance for questions because it looks like it's dying down. So when it starts dying down, I start asking you, but I don't want to ask too much. You probably have a long list of groups on the left, Rick, just because you have longer lists of keywords, right? So the way that what you should do, Rick, is do this. Go to your actions tab, collapse everything, and then it'll always fall to even. But what's going on with you, I can show you an example of it. Probably one of these. Okay, if I expand everything, or at least expand my keyword groups, it starts getting different. Oh, this one's already been cleaned up. But yeah, just collapse everything and then start moving your keywords into smaller groups and then move your groups into active. What I do, guys, is I have, and I've talked about this a lot as well. You can look it up through the search function. But I always have my main project. This is the How to Make Money with Bitcoin project. This is the project that actual pages and posts are being developed from. All these other groups are me just doing keyword research and creating groups that I'm going to move into an active project. Once the keyword group is created and I like that group of keywords, so like say for instance, I don't know, like this little, say it wasn't business, news, and media, but say it was something else, graphs or whatever. Then I would take this group and I would move it to a different project. So it goes from my research project over to my live site, right? So I have two groups usually, research groups and then the live site group. Is there a way to find out if my website is penalized by Google? Yeah, what Todd said, use add it to Search Console, and they'll tell you. The other way to do it is like this. If you have an EMD, no matter what your domain is, okay? I always, and this is a PBN check as well. Okay, so do this. First, check out if it's indexed. Okay. So, okay, fine, we're indexed. Next, search for the actual URL. So take out site : search for the URL. You should show up first because you're actually searching for your URL, okay? Next, take out the period of the domain. So now what you're searching for is your domain name and the word .net, okay? This is where you might start disappearing. If you're healthy and you're not indexed, you should show up first again, okay? And you can see here, there I am there, and there I am there. Next, take out the .net. Now you're just searching for your domain name, okay? I'm still showing first. Very, very healthy. Finally, search for the actual word. And if you're really, really strong and really, really healthy, you'll show up first. So you can see I'm strong all the way up to the last search, but when it's finally an actual keyword search, I'm no longer on top. So I'm either, the problem there is I'm either over optimized for the keyword, which I am. There it is. You can, oh, there I am right there. Okay, I'm either over optimized for the keyword, or I have some sort of penalty, which I know I do because I got negative SEO'd. I used to be #1 for this term. So those checks in that succession will give you an idea of for free, without adding Webmaster Tools, how healthy your site is in Google. You just bought a program called Zoo SEO. Have you ever optimized pages for promoting call in? I don't know if you've done your sentence there. Call for promoting call in. What? Can you rephrase your question? How do we get rid of index pages that have been hacked? You don't want to get rid of index pages that have been hacked. You want to fix them. And re-index them back to their original form. Have I ever okay, so everyone's saying he probably means pay-per-call. Have I ever optimized a page for pay-per-call? I mean, there's no difference in optimizing, whether it be for affiliate sites, AdSense sites, local sites, client sites, e-commerce sites, pay-per-call sites. The optimization process in every regard in Google is literally the same, right? It's keyword research, old school optimization of meta tags, new school optimization with Schema, and social optimization for social media. This process applies to everything that you want to rank in Google, no matter what it is. AJ, if you have pages that were created when your site got hacked and you want to get rid of those, if you have Webmaster Tools, you can actually use that block URL feature. Or just delete those pages and let Google respider your site, and eventually they'll fall off because they're no longer there. But the quick way to do it is what that other guy was suggesting before. Sorry, I forget the name, but it was in, was it here? Or no, it's Google Index probably. Yeah, remove URLs, okay? So you find the URLs that are indexed that were created by the hacker, you upload your list here and Google will remove them. Is that it? Are we done? Nope, keeps coming. That's okay. My review schema suddenly got removed and it looks strange on the website. Can you check it? That's a support ticket, Rob, please. Rick, he better fix how the hacker got in as well. Yeah, definitely. If you've been hacked, definitely fix your issue.
The hole. All right, guys. Well, you know what? I think that's going to be a wrap. 1 hour and 40 minutes. That was a great webinar, Herc. Nice job. I always learn something myself. Very, very cool. Did everybody enjoy that? Everybody learned something today? Yes, yes, yes. Good info. Killer as usual. Fantastic. Thank you for the training. Remove URL process is great. Great tool. Yes, great guys. All right. Excellent. Thank you for all the great feedback. We really do appreciate it to know that we're, you know, doing and saying the right things that you guys, you know, come to know us for. And we will be back next week, same time, same channel. Go ahead.
Update your shit, guys. Yeah, if you don't see a page full of black versions, update your shit.
Yeah. 3.056, and we'll be pushing out another update in a couple of days, per usual. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us, and we will see you all again next week. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.